Morning, everybody. Welcome to my channel. 8:15 a.m. It's February 9th. Friday, oh Friday. Friday, if you listen to my stream in the morning, I said this was overdone. We swept liquidity in the overnight session, and I said the expected move, I expected to hit the prior day's highs in overnight highs. Well, we did that. Okay, we did that. And the market basically opened, specifically in the ES. It's what you call an open test drive. It basically opened, test it very briefly down, and then the rest of the session was up. And your boy here made an error from my system. Internals were very bullish. Okay, there was a reading I'm going to let you guys in my internals that you should never short. Okay, this error, in my case, ended my streak of profitable weeks. I think it ended either at 10 weeks in a row or 11 weeks in a row being profitable. It wasn't a big negative. I was only down 100, a little over 120 something bucks or something like that, which is half a risk of one trade, which is not bad. However, in trading, right, it's always the little things that made my week different. Now, last week should have been a positive week, even with the error of shorting on Friday. Because everybody knows my little rant from Wednesday is I would have had a 43-point winner that day. And I chose to go to break even though it was the best trade that I had. And actually, that same trade played out that long. I happened on Tuesday, I hit it. Wednesday, I was in it, but then I got hit break even. And then Thursday, I also had a 27-point winner. That was the trade. Okay, now that trade would have made my week a positive week. Okay, so these are the things you have to do. And if you're aware of Jarrett Tendler, he's a performance coach. He used to be a performance coach, I believe, for poker and then golf. He's a golfer as well, and he helps traders. And one thing he talks about is like an inchworm thing. And the little things, I think he calls it your A, B, and C game. And your C game, like an inchworm from the back, what you want to do is eliminate things that are easy, right? Like on Friday, specifically the bullish internals and the bullish technology. I generally do not short that. I wait for my long. I wait for a long. Now, don't get me wrong. These trades were not horrific. They were not horrific trades. They were just not with probabilities. Okay? Not with probabilities. So, those are the little things, right? If I go back, I eliminate the short that I took. Just the short on Friday I took. I would have been up for the week again. So those are just the little things, like an inchworm. You want to improve your C? The C stuff could be, hey, don't short an uptrend. Something simple, like me. Bullish internals like that, you don't short that. You wait. And if there's no long to be had, you don't have a trade. Right? That would have made my week positive. Those are little things, all right? I always like to share you guys a little bit of a little window into trading. Okay, there was a little more explanation why I shorted. It wasn't horrible. It was in a heavily supply area. I talked about it in the morning. All right, like I said, it wasn't a reckless trade, but it wasn't a trade based on probability. It was me kind of feeling like the whole week we sold off, we bought from the bottoms, and every week that happened except this day. Why we didn't do that on this day? Those bullish internals. Okay. Now this week coming up, all the big boys are pretty much done reporting earnings, except we have Nvidia down the road. All right. All the big boys are pretty much done. We still have earnings though. Okay. We also have the delayed NFP and unemployment coming Wednesday. We also have CPI this week. We have a lot of Fed speak today. All right. And like I mentioned in my YouTube card, we are at a very big level, 69.50 in the ES. That is your most trader price of the month. That is your most trader price of this year and of the rolling year. Okay? This is a battleground. Whoever wins this war, we will go higher or we will go lower. Okay? All right, let's get into it. Welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use market profile and Vine profile to find structure in the markets, along with supply and demand, gamma exposure levels, and most trader price of the year, the month, the week, the previous day. That is my edge. That is how I construct game plans. Now I also use my market internals, my anchor VWAPs, the ICT concepts, or my smart money concepts, whatever you want to call it. Okay. And my weekly expected move indicator. That reminds me, I ran it this morning, so I will share that again. Okay? I will share that again. All right. Now, hopefully every morning you join me, subscribe, set an alert. I do this every morning, give you the market story, the market news, economic calendar, leaders and laggards, and basically why the market's doing what it's doing. Give you some technical analysis, and I follow it up with the long and short trade scenarios in the Nasdaq and the ES futures. Now, if you want more in-depth coverage, you are going to join my Discord, Confluence Trading. Go to my YouTube homepage, click on the link, and sign up. What are you waiting for? Let me be your indicator. Now, a little bit on my Discord. Okay, I have been working to better my community with an AI bot that's been helping out tremendously. So there's going to be new things I'm rolling out. As you noticed, I have a morning prep now that we can go over. I have market news that comes out throughout the day. I am going to have many different things when you join my Discord, explaining my methods. Okay, explaining my methods in detail to welcome you into the community. All right, things I have on the burner also to give you an update. I run gamma levels with my proprietary script every market open. Now, members in my community who are live with me know how important those gamma levels are. They see how important they are. Okay, so I run gamma levels, like I said, with my Python script every day. I run them for the week, for the month, and I have a 0 DTE script as well. Okay, I am not going to give all of those levels out, but what I'm going to do is give you, most likely, when I'm going to do a test run, I'm not sure I'm going to have time to do it today, but give you the gamma flip points in the SPY, the QQQ, and the SPX. I most likely will give you the weekly gamma flip point each morning and the monthly. Now the monthly gamma flip point is more powerful. More powerful. Okay? That is the more powerful level. Now, of course, there's a bunch of negative and positive gamma levels that are also very, very important. All right. They are not going to be included in that. Now, down the road, like I said, give me 1 second here. I just want to, down the road, like I said, we'll see about what I want to do with that. That might have to be some premium section or something like that if I'm going to share all of those levels. They are very, very important and save me a lot. Save me a lot of time. All right, I used to do them manually, and now I have them pretty much automated, and I have a ThinkScript indicator for Thinkorswim, and they go on my charts every day. Okay. So, like I said, I'm going to have a bunch of stuff that I want to do with the community that I think is pretty cool. And give me one sec. I'm just sharing the weekly expected move indicator now. And what else I have down the pipe? Let me let you know. All right, I'm going to give you what I'm doing with the weekly expected move indicator. Okay, what else am I going to do? Well, I'm going to have alerts set every morning and let us know which expected moves to the upside or to the downside are in danger of getting breached. That will also be an alert from my bot, the AI agent. Okay, that's another feature that I'm going to add in as well. One more thing, I want to start to get certain playbooks of my trade setups. I don't really know how many setups I have, but I know if you watch me, you'll hear me say, "Oh, I love this setup. There's a poor high, and this such and such internals that I always go long here." Okay, what I'm going to try to do, and I'm going to do for myself as well, I'm going to do trade setups. Okay, give you how I'm looking at the day. Okay, pre-market expectations, then intraday expectations with like a hashtag of my trade setup. So that hashtag will be data that you can search and see when those setups fire off, and then I'll have a channel dedicated to explaining each hashtag setup and why I took it. Okay, if you follow me live, you see I look at a lot of things. All right, I look at a lot of levels, the gamma levels and stuff like that. But I mean, I have it all in front of my face. It's not really hard for me to process it. It takes about a couple seconds. All right. But if you watch me, you might be like, "Whoa, I don't even understand gamma levels." Like, blah 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 blah. Right. I'm also gonna have that too in education, where you'll understand why I use these things, why I use these tools, why do I use the weighted AD indicator, why, right? The beauty of our market is, and a beauty why I love the S&P 500 is it gives you, like, what I look at gives me the reasons the market's doing what it's doing, instead of I'm just looking at a day and I don't know what I'm looking at. Because every day, if you're with me, I categorize the day. I categorize the macro environment, categorize the day. Hence, all that makes me determine a day trade. Like I said, people in my community can attest. I know stats, I have them in my head. Hey guys, we usually do this in this kind of environment. Hey, we usually do this. This is the expected behavior when I see internals like this. Okay, so those are just part of some of the things that I'm going to share, like upcoming things to improve the community, right? Also for myself. Okay. With that being said, let's get right into futures. Just trying to give you guys the best experience in my community, right? All right. Silver is up today. All right. It's up 3.69%. VIX is up 2.82. Gold's up 1%. 10-year yield is up 0.26. Russell's flat. Crude's flat. Dow's flat. ES kind of flat. Nasdaq's down 0.20, was down more earlier. 30-year bonds are being sold, hence why yields are higher. Dollar is down 0.61. Ethereum down 0.68. Bitcoin is taking back some of those gains, down 1.39%. Mag 7 Plus. Eli Lilly up over 2%. Okay, Microsoft up 1%. Remember, software stocks got hit hard recently. Okay. Now, who's down today? Broadcom down 0.64, and Coinbase getting hurt by the Bitcoin proxy, right? Top sectors. Oracle is up 4.1%. I don't know exactly why that is, but they are. All right, it's been getting smoked. All right. I believe a big part of that is because they have a lot of debt. But Palantir is up 1.16. The miners is up over 1%. Salesforce is up after getting smashed. All right, 0.63. Who's down a little bit? So these are taking a hit a little bit. PepsiCo's had a nice run. This is all makes sense, right? United Healthcare is down a little bit. Walmart, like I said, came 1 trillion market cap. Kind Costco. These are all safe plays except Qualcomm's not. They're down 0.32. All right, moving on to sectors. Sectors we have. Who's leading today? The Eli Lilly being up. That's going to be healthcare, up 0.18. Followed by energy. Nothing up too big today. Who's down? That's your discretionary. That's your Amazon, your Tesla, your Home Depot. Trying to see why else that is down. I mean, it's not down big. Semis is your laggard today. Generally, that means risk off, but sometimes that means when the market opens up, they get bought. They get bought. All right, now let's go to my Discord with the morning prep. All right, let's look at it. Okay, you can see the Bitcoin, right? Vibe cautious start after AI-driven volatility last week. All right, now the breadth readings. The breadth that I usually go over with a chart. Okay, 68%. This is what's a little crazy about a market. Okay, this is percentage of stocks over their 50-day moving average. It's at 68%. That is not very weak. Okay, even because this was a tech software sell-off. Down at New York Stock Exchange, remember that's 2,600 stocks, 2,800 stocks, is at a 61% of those stocks are on a buy signal. Folks, that is not very weak. Okay. Now for the S&P 500, remember that's 500 stocks, that's what we trade every day, is 55% of stocks are on buy signal. So that's a little more middling, okay? And then we have the NDX. You can see here only 37% of stocks are on buy signals. That's a little more oversold. The tech, now we go down to the minute detail of the bullish percent index of technology. It's oversold. It's only at a 27% of stocks in the tech sector are on buy signals. Okay, when you get down below 20 to 15% to 10%, I would probably say start buying a little bit. Okay, economic calendar, there's nothing really highly impacted today. We have a bunch of Fed speak. All right, now focus for the week. Wall Street awaiting key jobs and inflation reports. We know this, right? Wednesday's unemployment and NFP data. Trump tracker. 10 a.m. President schedule indicates White House meetings. No specific public addresses or press briefings currently listed. Let's see. Midterm rhetoric. Administration focusing on midterm elections. Security comments over the weekend. U.S. debt exposure. China tells its domestic banks to limit exposure to U.S. treasuries, adding pressure to bond yields. Tech volatility. Asian tech giants sold off overnight following the U.S. lead. NASDAQ futures showing relative weakness. We know this. Bond yields, treasury yields ticking higher. We saw that earlier. Earnings highlights. These are not very important. Apollo Global, Becton Dixon, right? SoftBank. Let's see here. Tech sector seeing cautious coverage after licensing Mag 7 rotation. Energy analysts highlighting potential gas prices pressures on industrial margins. Okay. So that's our morning prep, our morning brief. Now we can move over. There's a little stock news here. Oh, why does this keep happening? This is annoying. This is really annoying. This usually does not happen. But I have to do this every day now. So give me a sec. Sorry about that. And let's get the little highlighter here. We're talking about the calendar here. Okay. Real quick, look, Novo Nordisk stock gained 5.7 and Hims Health slumped 20% after telehealth pulled its newly launched 49 weight loss drug. Yeah, I'm glad I'm out of that. That stock's getting smoked. Okay. Look else here, Micron Technology, ticker MU, stock fell 2.9 after the report indicated Samsung Electronics will begin mass production of next generation high-bandwidth memory chips this month, intensifying competition. Eli Lilly stock rose 1.8 after the pharmaceutical giant said it planned to acquire therapy developer Orna Therapeutics. Okay. SoFi, let's see what they stock gained 3% after Citizens upgrade the online personal finance company to market perform. All right. Like I said, we already tracked Trump. He doing an interview at 3 o'clock. Let's see here. Calendar, there's Fed speak today. Fed Bostic. Fed Waller. They haven't moved markets lately a lot. I hope it not to be, Let's go into any other news. Let's see. FedEx event-led consortium to buy parcel locker firm and post $9.2 billion deal. Let's see here. Now, in Asia, Japanese shares climbed to an all-time highs following Prime Minister Sanae Takichi's election victory, which bolstered optimism around her responsible, proactive fiscal approach. Just want to see if there's anything in here we didn't cover. I think we're good. All right, we can move on. We can move on to those market internals, and they were the key that your boy tried to fight. Good morning, Mark. That your boy fought it. I am not proud of that. Okay, and I was mentioning it. It wasn't like I didn't know it. This is the reading you guys got to pay attention to. Okay, and I share this every day in my Discord. So let's show you the couple readings that you should never short a market with these internals. Okay, so what were the readings that I'm talking about? Well, number one are the Valdez. Okay, they are four. This is what this means. So this is at exchange level. Okay, this is over, let's say, almost a little under 6,000 stocks in the stock exchange. This is telling you, start with the first number, 4.25 to 1 in the NYSE exchange. What that means is there's 4.251 of volume going into up stocks versus down stocks. That is not a number you see a lot. Generally, you'll see a 1-to-1 ratio. That's more general. Look at the NASDAQ exchange. 5.1 ratio of volume going into up stocks versus down stocks. That is 5 times. Okay? Those two numbers alone, you should not be shorting the market. Now, I shorted near the highs. I got confirmation. Like I said, it wasn't a piss poor trade. It just was not taking advantage of what I know. Okay, now, the bigger canary in the coal mine is this number. The NASDAQ exchange advanced decline here was over 2,500. So, what does that mean? This is stocks advancing minus decliners. NASDAQ, I believe, has 3,000 stocks. Don't quote me on that. Basically, when you're over 2,500, all pullbacks will be bought. Repeat it. All pullbacks will be bought. Okay? Now, I decided to try to short that, knowing these things. Now, if you were watching live, there was the first attempt that I was going to go short would have paid me. And I hesitated, and it went without me. Then I shorted when break even. Then I think I tried one more time, and I took a full loss. Later on, I had a long that I went for a higher target than high a day. That would have actually made me positive for the week. The long I hit, made me money. But, so I was finally playing the long. Now let me explain that. The long that I winded up taking, if I just held it, my stop would have never got hit, and I would have hit that monster move. I did not know that monster move was going to happen. And I said there was a chance of it. I was telling my community, this could, because we're battling a major level that I'll talk about, the 6950, that this could be major short covering and have a burst. And it did. Boy, did it have a burst. Okay? The bottom line is, when you have internals like that I'm showing you, you don't short. And these levels that I'm showing you, this is where mentally I have to note this in my head for the future, is you just don't short that. Now, in retrospect, and what I'm going to do for the future is a couple things. is when you see a type of level, this is the SPX, right? If you see a level like this, when you see this, and this was like this not too far from the open as well, what I should have did is, okay, I'm seeing this. There's a couple things you can do. First pullback, just go long and put a soft stop if you want to scale something in and just hold it. And just add as it's going up and then get the move. Or wait for that one pullback and have a, you know, your stop at the low of day. Because most likely than not, look at the price action. This is why I'm trying to explain to you. These internals are so bullish. You had the little early move. That was the one I missed. And then you had a little problems, and then you did this. Now look what happened. Bought, 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 bought. It just can't go down. And then whoop. Then all these shorts had to give it up, and it caused an explosive move. Okay? That's your market internals recap. Very important. And every day, like I say, in my room, what do I say? I say, I've been doing this for a while, tracking the internals, right? Now, sometimes somebody might be like, "Hey, look at ticks, look at this," and I'll be like, "Nah." In this day, there's a lot of nuance. I'll be like, "There's days where you just know that as an outlier, and you have to trade accordingly." I broke that rule, even though I did follow it later on. Okay, it made me some money, but for the overall day, I was a little red. But that's when you have the edge. That's an edge. What I just showed you. That's an edge. Okay. Everybody, when you start, it says you gotta find an edge, and I'm always like, I don't know what the heck. I don't know how to find that. I don't know how to find that. Okay. So let's look at the charts here. I already talked about this on Friday morning. I was like, we're going higher, folks. We're probably headed here, and that's exactly what we did. Okay? That's exactly what we did. That was the expectation. You swept this swing low. I said the expected move would be to hit this session high. That's exactly what we did. Now, the famous quote, the market will probably do what you think it will do, but in the least obvious way. Okay, that's what makes trading hard. Now, what did we do? We bounced off the 100-day moving average, the prior monthly lows. We ripped up past the prior week's lows, right? And ended the week inside the prior week. Okay. Right, a move. We were oversold, really, for the short term. Now we're in gobbledygook again. And we'll get into that. Where are we now? 690.21. 690.21. We are right here around the close. Oh, Friday. Now let's look at futures. Okay, here's our futures. And we're just in the worst possible area to be. We're in the worst possible area. Why is that? Well, look at the range here. It's just gross. Look at all this trading, and you're back inside the middle of it. That's why I said the 69.50s is horrible. Okay? It's horrible. So, remember, use your probabilities. Use what I'm, like I said, the edge. The edge I have is I know that level is the most traded price of the rolling year. And you can just see it in the sheer candles around it. So what do? Well, we swept this session and this one. And now we're back here, making it hard for everybody. You're at the anchored VWAP for this year, right on the nose. The 50-day moving average. Look at these moving averages. This tells you a lot too. Okay, 50 moving average is like flattened out. The 20-day is kind of flat. We're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. Okay, we did one of these, and look at that bar. My God. Look at that bullish engulfing bar. That is pretty nasty. Okay. All right, move on. Qs. Qs. All right. So Qs, same thing. Remember, it's relatively weaker. So what did we do? Remember, they had the software sell-off. They had the software sell-off. So they went deep. And then they couldn't even go inside the prior week's range like the ES did. Where are we now? 608.72. We are a little below the close of Friday. Okay? Now, over to futures. Look, we swept these two sessions back here. Getting a little buying, but we basically have a doji. Now, you are not by the major trading volume like the ES is. Okay? Now, software sold off. Is this a true buying moment for software and tech? Or is it just you needed a little relief because you're oversold and we're going to take this low out? I don't know. I don't know. Look, you hit the 9 EMA daily. Okay. Now look at that 9 EMA. It's sloping downward, right? 20 day sloping downward. What's the 50 day doing? 50 day is kind of flat. Flat 50 day. 100 days still a little sloping to the upside. Okay. Now in futures, remember what I said. Nasdaq futures hit the 200 day moving average. Okay. They hit the 200 day. So that's where we stand. We already went over the breath. I don't need to do that now. Okay. That breath smells good right now. All right. Now over to 1 hour charts. One hours. It's all about the 1 hours. All right. Boom. Let's look at this together. All right. Let's see what's going on here. What is going on? Let me change this so these candles are in the front. Alrighty. So, this was quite a crazy move. Okay? Came from all the way down there and just ripped. And then this is where my community, I said, this is where I have a problem. That's why I shorted. Okay? We were in these big levels. I'm like, all right, it's having trouble here. But it had about what? 2 hours? 3 hours in this area. Couldn't break it. And then finally, boom. Okay? Boom. And where are we? I told you. These boxes, the green, the orange, and this signify the most traded price of the rolling year, this year, and last month, and this month, rolling month. Okay? And the week. So, if you look at my levels, there was a swing high here. We broke it. Interesting. Look at that. That wick went right to it. And then overnight, you broke that level. But guess what? You could not. You closed over it once, but then you went back under it. And look, you went back under this big pivot level of 69.50. Okay? This is your battle zone. Who is going to win the war? I don't know. Okay? You are making swing high, lower high, right? This is not the best structure. Okay, you have a move here. That's not bad, but then it's kind of like a little consolidation and then boop, 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 boop. So, my friends, okay, I always bring out my big dog here. I don't want to call him big dog because it's an elephant. Right there. Elfie, my elephant on a toothpick. Now, can an elephant hold a toothpick up generally? No. So this would be your toothpick. This would be your elephant. Now an elephant's holding up. Can this toothpick hold up that elephant? It should not. It should not. Okay? Now, so if we take out that swing low and do something like this and do this, whew, this is very susceptible to get cleaned. Whoop. And then whoop. And then you finally have some, you finally have a base here a little bit. You might stop there. Well, pure momentum might take it straight out. Okay? So this is really what I want to make sure everybody realize, the 69.50 level. It's the battleground. Okay? Who is going to win the battle? Who is going to win the battle? Okay? So, what are we looking at? Well, month-to-date anchored VWAP right there. It's flat, right? Week-to-date is right here. It's causing resistance right now. Now, week-to-date is very new, right? Starts Sunday night. So, this is a battleground, okay? And this is very poor structure. Okay, I know a lot of people get excited when I talk about poor structure because they're like, oh, if I get it short, yeah, you're right. If you get it short, get ready. And if this market starts to go, uh-oh, I bought my tech stocks. Oh, there's my boy. There's my boy. I know that got him up. I know that got him up. He smelt it. The poor structure. I live it. I love it. All right, so that ES, right? Look what we got. 4 hours. That's kind of indecisive, right? The daily, that's pretty indecisive as well. Okay? Why? Because we're at the pivot. 69.50. If you don't even trade the ES, you better watch the 69.50. I'm telling you right now. Put it on your chart. Okay? So, again, battleground area. And what does that exactly mean, right? So, we tried once to get over this level, and they lost the battle. Now, we're in the battle still, fighting. So, what do you want to see, right? You want to see these, if you're bullish, you want to see, take out these liquid levels, right? You want to see something like this, whoop, and then maybe a pullback to go higher. And then we probably go to all-time highs, right? But right now, let's dissect the candles. You have a nice little base here, right? Let's just say this area, and you go across. That's your safe zone for bulls, right? Okay, we took out this all the way to here. Now we got support in the bearish bullish for value gap, and now we're trying to go up into the battle zone. We're getting some selling. It went right into supply, right into the week-to-day VWAP. Okay? So, if you're short, you want this trend, this little mini trend to continue. You take out that swing on, boom, retest this major pivot level, the battle zone. Then you have poor structure, folks, and you're going to ride that slide all the way down to this demand zone. If you break that demand zone, you're going to ride a slide again and go wee down to here. There's big orders hitting the tape, and they're bearish right now. I don't know if you guys can hear those orders, but they are aggressive sellers. Okay? They are aggressive sellers. So, what's the opposite of this? Well, let's say we do this, right? Now, also, people like to call this the bull flag, whatever. So, this price action is just accumulation. Now, if I'm a bull, if we come down here and sweep that swing low, we hit the month-to-date anchor VWAP and do one of these, whoop, close back inside the range, then you get the discount. This won't be easy to just go whoop, but you could have like one of these, and then you win the battle. Okay, that's how we're gonna play it. Pretty simple. That's how you're gonna play it. Pretty simple. Okay, that whoever wins this, you're gonna get a push up, or you're gonna get a push down. Okay. Let's go over the NASDAQ. NASDAQ is relatively weaker. Okay? The big level in the NASDAQ is up here, 25876. That's the most traded price of the month, the most traded price of the rolling year. We are below that, folks. We're not even close to it. We are not even close to it. I love the finally. Finally, it is happened to me. Now, little CC Peniston, Mary. All right. So, I can see Rand's head bob and he's a very good dancer. Documents is a very good dancer. Now, let's look at this together. You probably loved Bad Bunny last night. Now, last night's game. Oh my God. Horrendous. Horrendous. Never thought the punters would be that active. I didn't think that game would be good. Anyway, let's get into the NASDAQ, all right? NASDAQ. Battle zone already lost. The NASDAQ has already lost their war. All right? Bears are winning in structure. Bears are winning. Now, same kind of price action here, right? What do we have here? This happens to be 251 is your most traded price of the week. It's the most traded price of Friday. We have to treat that as our battle zone. 251, 251, okay? Now, same thing. We got a supply zone. We hit the look at the same kind of stuff. The only difference is if you notice the month to date anchored VWAP, we are below it. We hit resistance of the week to date anchored VWAP. So that is a different story, right? Okay. We're relatively weaker today. We tried to mitigate this bearish fair value gap, and we could not. And where are we rejecting? Right at your 251. All right. Now, the NASDAQ doesn't have the structure that is that poor. Remember, the ES was just like had this monster. Whoop. The NASDAQ doesn't have it as much. It doesn't have those big pockets of poor structure. It moved actually pretty good. Look, consolidate, push up, consolidate, push up, consolidate. That's not how the ES looked. Now, don't get me wrong. This isn't the best right here, but it's a little more healthy. It's a little more healthy. All right? Now, maybe ES is like Forrest Gump. This is a little stronger. Okay? This is a little stronger. So, now, we are accumulating. Just look at it. Whoop. What is this? Prior month's lows. Prior month's lows. Okay? So, what is the deal? Well, it's all about the 251 battle zone. 251 battle zone. Who is going to win? Who is going to win? Now, if you look, let me just put this level on the. I don't know why I got rid of that. Let me put this level up here. This is a liquid level of a buy side liquidity that was taken out, but we have to honor it right there. Right there, because this was your little barometer. We did close finally above it. But then where are we at now? We swept that liquidity, folks. That's why I think the most projected move I would think is probably back down. Now, psychologically, think about it. All software tech was oversold. It just got too oversold. Now you needed that relief. And I'm going to tell you something right now. If you bought that, I'm going to buy my Microsoft. I'm going to buy my Salesforce. And you see a little bit of they're going to dump their positions. Okay? So, this is how you play it. Right? You want that the level is, I believe it's 25180. And you got your 251. So you got a nice little sweepy sweep coming in right here. Okay. So what do you want to see if you want to be short? Okay. Take out that swing low. Close it. Take out that bullish fair value gap there. All right. And then you want the premium. Remember, when you sell, you want a premium. That swing high becomes secure Even if you come back to the 251, as long as you don't take it out. And boy, oh boy, if this does not go higher, you're going to find yourself at the 247s, at least the 247s. At least the 247s. Okay? Now, long. You got a lot of work to do. Look at all these levels. Look at all these levels. You got a lot of work to do. You put yourself back under the battle zone, 251. That is a lot of work to do. So, if you do it, you got to do this. Whoa, and take all them out, and then you get the discount somewhere, as long as it doesn't take out that swing low. And then you can start working stuff off. That's as simple as today's going to get. Okay? Battle zones. Battle zones. You want to get away from the battle zones. Don't trade in that battle zone. Meaning, the last thing, I'm not even going to do market profile, volume profile. I gave you the scenarios enough. Okay? Inside here, if we start like just inside, that is a real big gamble to just think you're going to do something. You want to see something. Take out that swing low. Retrace. Now you're shorted. Okay? You don't want to pick a top and go, oh, I'm shorting here, because you'll do something like this will happen. And then we'll roll over. And then you'll be like, man, I was short. So, don't be a hero. All right, I'm gonna end it there. All right, I just gave you scenarios anyway. Okay, so smash the like button if you enjoyed that analysis. All right, that was very, very lengthy, but join me every morning and subscribe and set that alert. Give you the market story, the market news, economic calendar, the leaders and the laggards, and exactly why the market's doing what it's doing. All right, gave you a bunch of technical analysis, and I just gave you long and short trade scenarios in the Nasdaq and ES futures. Giving you the golden nuggets. Okay? The golden nuggets. Now, if you want more in-depth coverage, you're going to join my Discord. That's Confluence Trading. Go to my YouTube homepage, click on the link, and sign up. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? You want edge? Do you want some type of edge? Then you're going to come and join me live and see the edge. Are you missing the line? Is that what you're telling me? Or you're having, I think you're telling me about the line. Documents here. Maybe he's telling me about the line. I used to say, let me be your morning cup of coffee, your tea. That line maybe. Oh. He's waiting for the expected moves. Why? Do they work? Does the expected move work? I believe it does. And that, my folks, is why also a lot of these stocks were oversold based on my weekly expected move indicator that we went over in detail last week. And I said over to the down, and then the market didn't expect, it wasn't priced in to go that low. Okay? I'm going to share that after this feed is done. Okay? So, hopefully you come join me in my Discord today. All right? I'll be sure to give you the day, the this, the that. I just gave you the battle zone. All right? So, everybody have a great day. Remember, no trade's a trade. I hope everybody has a green one. And let's do something today. Now, I don't know. Sometimes after Super Bowl, everybody's hungover. But there's always a trade. There's always a trade. Okay? So hopefully we get some good tempo. All right? Everybody, hopefully see you in my room. If not, I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Take it easy.